Hi guys, this is Kata, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. And I just want to tell you quickly that I did not really enjoy this book. I gave it 3 stars, so I don't know if you want to keep watching this video or not, because if you really love this book then you might not enjoy my review. But yeah, I didn't hate it or anything, but I gave 3 stars and everyone else seems to have given 5 stars, so my 3 stars are still a bit low for this book. But yeah, I just had such big expectations from this book because everyone seems to love this book, and I just don't see why. But I'm going to tell you all about that in the next few minutes. But I'm going to start with the things that I liked, and then I'm going to talk about the things that I didn't really enjoy. But I'm not going to go into detail about the story because I think most of you know what this story is about, and there will be no spoilers also. So anyways, let's start with the good stuff. One of the things that I really enjoyed in this book was the clever one-liners, because there were some sentences in it that just made me laugh out loud, and just sentences that you didn't expect at the very end of like the letter or something like that. It was just funny at times, and I really loved those because they were clever, and those one-liners or those one sentences showed that he's a great writer. And another thing that I liked, and he is basically the only character that I really loved in this book, and that's Patrick. And I just wish that this story was about him, or there was a story about him, because he seems so intriguing and interesting, and I just wanted to know more about him. And basically he was the only character that would make me care for that character. So yeah, I love Patrick in this book. Another thing that I quite enjoyed about The Perks of Being a Wallflower is that the story, or more like the author, didn't shy away from some topics and that he wanted to include in this book. And I think that was very smart and brave, especially because it's not a new book, and even like 10 or 15 years ago these topics were not as spoken about as they are now. So I think that was a good thing. But now let's get into the not so good things, at least for me, and there are a few of them. Now, one of those not so good things is actually kinda linked to that previous thing that I actually loved, and the negative is that while the author didn't shy away from some topics, he did include a lot. Like a lot, and this might be spoilerish for someone, so please just mute this video for like the next 5 or so seconds. But there was basically abuse, rape, molestation, drugs, suicide, death, and pregnancy, abortion, you name it, you have it in this book. But since it's such a short book, how long is it? It's like 220 pages. But since it's a very short book, none of these topics are well established and spoken about in the book, because especially with the, again, spoiler, so next 10 seconds, when it was the pregnancy, it was said that they went to have an abortion. They got an abortion. End of story. And it was never mentioned again. And I don't know. I just didn't really love this, because I felt like all of those things were included just, for shock value, and just because we are going to be so edgy that we put all these things into this book, and a typical teenager doesn't encounter all those things at like 14. And I know some might have these problems, all these problems in their lives, but I don't know. I just don't think that they were executed well. I mean, all these problems and all these issues. The next problem I had with this story is our main character, Charlie. And I know a lot of people love Charlie and can relate to him, I guess. But for me, or to me, he was just so young, so naive, so immature. And the weird thing is that he's supposed to be this very, very clever guy at school because he can write all those essays and stuff like that. But but he wasn't just, socially awkward. He was very young in his brain and in his mind, and I don't understand how he could be this great mind if he can be that young and that childish in some situations. And I know he is a child because he's 14, but still. And oh my god, any time that I saw the words "I cried" or "then I cried" or "and then I cried," I was like, yes, we know you cry a lot. And I'm going to talk about this later on. But again, just how the author always just wrote that I cried, that simply with those two words, with no extra, information like showing us how that situation was or how he cried or what he has done. I just didn't like it how it was that simple, like I cried. Yes, we know. You cry, you cry, you cry. My other issue was that I kept wondering if Sam and Patrick were actually good friends for Charlie. I mean, at times they were acting like that, ooh, Charlie is the best person in the world and he is our best friend. But other times they just kept ignoring him, like he was nobody. And I think that in this book they are supposed to be these very great friends, but I didn't really feel that a whole lot of times. So yeah, I just couldn't really connect to their friendship, I guess. One of my main problems was actually with the writing style, because I didn't really love how it was written like letters. And my main problem with this was that we didn't get enough dialogue. It was just the narrative, and we could only know the things that Charlie gave us. And of course, in letters you don't include dialogues, and so that's understandable. But I just wish that the author decided to go with another writing style, because this one just didn't work out for me all that well. And one of my other problems was with Sam. And again, I know. Everyone seems to love Sam, but for me, she was just weird, and I couldn't understand her and her reasons and what she wanted. And I kind of felt sorry for Charlie because I couldn't understand what Sam wanted from him. So obviously he couldn't understand that either, and I don't know, she just annoyed me at parts, and I couldn't see what was so great about her. But my main issue was that it didn't make me feel anything, this book. I mean, for the last 60 pages, I was like, when does this end? When can I read the next book? And it's such a short book, so it's pretty bad if I start to feel like that after 150 pages. And yeah, it kept my attention, but then again, it annoyed me quite a lot. So I don't know, and it just didn't make me feel anything. And I think that might be because of the writing style and the letter format. Because on the other hand, after I finished the book, I watched the movie, and I loved the movie. And that never happened with me. I mean, the thing that where you like the movie better than the book, that never happened. I mean, there are great movie adaptations, but in this case, I don't like the book, but I love the movie, and it's the same story. But I think it's just the actors' achievement, because they did their parts so well. I mean, Logan Lerman in one scene made me cry so hard, and this book didn't make me feel like that at all. And yeah, so my main issue with the book was that it just didn't make me feel anything. And so yeah, those were my thoughts about the perks of being a wallflower. I don't know, I wanted to love it so much because I had such high expectations. And I hope none of you are going to hate me for not loving this book and just saying all those things. But that's what I thought, and I mean, it's so great that a lot of people seem to love this book, and I just wish I was one of them, but hey, I can't love all the books either, so, and I'm sorry for my voice because it just keeps getting worse and worse, but that's because I'm still sick, so sorry for that. And yeah, please tell me if you have any thoughts about this book in the comment section below, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.